Hey everybody, Ken McElroy here. So what we're going to talk about now is the new year, new you. And these are four things that I believe, four steps that you can take to create permanent change. And in the promo videos, we talked about the honest self-assessment, the goals, the priorities, and the habits. And so we're going to go through each one of those now. The very first one, probably the hardest one, in my opinion, is what I would call an honest self-assessment. And so I think what happens is the key word here is honest. And I think this is where most people get hung up. Now, I think that people have a view as to who they are, but I don't think that it's always accurate. We're not going to talk a lot about that in this video, but an honest self-assessment is really who others that you trust and they're honest with you think you are. That's really the truth. And so we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things I believe that generate who you are. It's very interesting to me because I think what happens when people get into conversations and they start to look at themselves and they really start to try to understand what's going on with them or why they're broke or why they are moving from relationship to relationship or why, let's say, that they're overweight or whatever. What happens a lot of times is they point outwards and they say, it's not me. And it's very, very rare, I believe, that people ever really admit that they're wrong. And so what he's saying here is, if you want permanent change in your life, then you have to change. And then what happens is your circle of influences change. The things that you say are different, you know, because a lot of people hide behind this. And what he's saying is it's all based right here, is that when most of these things are in a protective, or they're protecting around your heart. And I think there's a couple ways that I think that you guys can do this. And you can do this online. And so I'm going to share with you a couple things that I've done as I was searching this. So I went to a ranch in West Texas to try to figure this part out because I was doing things inside of my subconscious that were damaging to my relationships, inhibiting me back financially, and also impairing my health based on some of the old records and some of the little voices that were in my head. And so I went to this ranch, and this is actually my chart here. This ranch was called Advanced Coaching and Leadership. And what we did is we filled out this 200-page questionnaire, and it kicked out this what's called a life analysis chart. And as you can see, you've got your green, your yellow, and your red, just like a stoplight or a traffic light. And obviously, if you're in the red, then those are things that this coach believes that we need to move up into the yellow, which is more neutral. But really what we want to do and what they say and what we're trying to do is we're trying to operate inside of the green zone. And the green zone is exactly where we need to be. We want to, as we start to identify things that were in this questionnaire, I'm trying to push everything up into the green zone. So this was my life analysis graph, and then this is my skills analysis graph, which was mostly in the green zone. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of people that operate in the red. And some of my friends, they took the exact same test, and they were down in the red on a number of things. And generally, these have to do with what we call shocks of some sort that you had in your childhood, or somebody said something to you, or whatever it is. Like one of my friends, he was told as a young boy, you know, he was always chubby. And so even today, and he's not, he still thinks of himself as that old chubby kid. Or maybe somebody got bullied or whatever. And so they grow up with these things and they're stuck. And so they're stuck in the red. And so the goal of the ranch is to try to work those up into the yellow and then eventually into the green zone. And all that did for me, the only thing that this chart did is it gave me an honest self-assessment of who I am based on the questions that I took. And these These surveys, guys, are everywhere all over the internet, okay? So you can go anywhere, but what you're trying to do is you're trying to get some honest feedback.